Hello everybody, RC Tech Guy here. Just wanted to make a video because I have actually ran into this with newcomers to the field who maybe are just getting used to their new radio, Spektrum radio, or computer radio of some type, Futaba, JR, one of those type of radios. And they're not used to everything that a computer radio can do, some of the newer features. And I actually had a person at the flying field who just received a radio, and they swore up and down that they had set exponential on the ailerons of the particular plane they were flying. However, they said they looked and there was no exponential set. And they had a Spektrum type radio similar to a DX8. It might have even been a DX8 or DX7. I can't remember. But come to find out, the problem was that they didn't realize that you can actually set up your switches, actually control which selection of exponential as well as travel that you can have with your servos. So what they didn't realize is that maybe in putting their radio in the bag or a carrying case or whatnot, their switch may have gotten switched to a different position. Well, they didn't realize that that exponential setting did not carry over between the switch settings, and I'll demonstrate that. And again, all you advanced guys, this is beginner stuff, but definitely want to cover this, as myself included. When I was beginning, I know I ran into just little things like this that you wish someone would have been able to tell you instead of having to have to figure it out yourself. So basically, I'm going back to the main screen. I want to go into my setup, then actually DR and Expo, and basically what you have here, and look, we have the aileron selected. So up on the DX8, I've got the aileron switch set to the 0 position. So you look at my dual rates set to 50% basically of what the ailerons can do. So I'm on switch position 0. I go to switch position 1. Look what happens. So switch position 0, switch position 1. Dual rates changes, and then also the Expo setting changes, if you notice. So basically what that means is that if someone accidentally puts their radio in the bag and the switch position gets changed, and let's say they didn't understand that, hey, you can have different settings on dual rates and Expo on all of these switch positions, so they may have had the desired setting on switch position 0, but again, the switch gets set to switch position 2, for instance, and then by default, that setting is dual rates is just set to 100%, and Expo, of course, is 0. So if you're not careful, if you don't understand your radio and what your radio can do and what the switches can do, you can potentially fly in a dangerous setting in the fact that you're not used to not having Expo, perhaps on a plane that has some really wild throws, for instance, and then you go out there and you yank it up in the air and you're expecting, okay, I can push my stick over here to do my normal feel of roll that I'm used to, and wow, you have no Expo or anything, and your plane is maybe doing things that you're not expecting it to do. So could potentially be something that could bring your plane down or put you in a position that you don't want to be in. So again, just to reiterate, that switch position changes those settings. And then if you notice, you also have the same thing for elevator 0, 1, and 2. And then also for the DX8 and Spektrum class radios, your rudder setting is all the way in the top right hand corner. So just keep that as something to keep in mind when you're looking at setting up your radio. Again, mainly for newer ones into the hobby, or newer ones that have just gotten a computer radio that can do all of these really neat nice things that is going to really help your flying. But in the same token, you have to be careful if you don't really understand what the radio can do and what the switch positions can do. I know the guy I mentioned earlier, he swore up and down there was something wrong with his radio, and even, was looking on the internet about radios resetting themselves and doing some really weird things, and in essence all that was going on was his switch position was different. So he had actually gone through and said, okay, well, I know I set my Expo to 70%, and so he did that on not realizing the switch position was different, and when all he would have had to do was just make sure the position was where he thought it was, or had the settings that he thought. So anyway, just a beginner type tip, and one of those simple questions and things that you run into with your first newer computer-based radio that can do features such as Expo and dual rates, and that has the different switch positions to put those settings into effect. Hopefully this will help you guys out there maybe who are new to the hobby and have your new nice radio. So hope you guys have fun flying, and we'll see you guys on the field or on the tube later on. Thanks, guys.